An environmental catastrophe. The Aral Sea, once the world's fourth largest inland lake, has become a symbol of human-induced environmental disaster. Located between Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan, the Aral Sea was a crucial water body, supporting local economies, ecosystems, and communities. Drastic shrinkage, which began in the latter half of the 20th century, has led to severe ecological, economic, and social consequences. The Aral Sea, before its decline, covered approximately 68,000 square kilometers. It was fed by two major rivers, the Amu Darya and the Sir Darya, which flowed from the mountains in Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. This endorheic basin, meaning it has no outflow, maintained its water levels through the inflow from these rivers and precipitation. The Aral Sea supported a rich biodiversity, including numerous fish species, and was surrounded by fertile land that was cultivated for agriculture. The beginning of the Aral Sea's decline can be traced back to ambitious Soviet agricultural policies. In the 1960s, the Soviet Union launched large-scale irrigation projects to boost cotton production. Often referred to as white gold, these projects involved diverting massive amounts of water from the Amu Darya and Sir Darya into a network of canals and irrigation systems. While these initiatives succeeded in transforming the Central Asian republics into significant cotton producers, they came at an enormous environmental cost. By the 1980s, the Aral Sea had begun to shrink rapidly. The diversion of water from its primary sources led to a dramatic reduction in its size. Today, the sea is less than 10% of its original size, divided into several smaller, disconnected water bodies. This shrinkage has had profound environmental consequences. Firstly, the loss of the Aral Sea has resulted in the destruction of its unique ecosystem. Many fish species that once thrived in the sea have become extinct, devastating the local fishing industry. The decline in fish populations has also affected bird species that relied on the sea for food. Secondly, the retreat of the water has exposed vast areas of the former seabed. These dry areas, now known as the Aralkum Desert, are sources of harmful dust storms. The exposed seabed is laden with salt and toxic chemicals from agricultural runoff and industrial pollution. These dust storms have spread pollutants across the region, leading to health problems such as respiratory diseases and cancers among the local population. The environmental degradation of the Aral Sea has had severe economic and social repercussions. The collapse of the fishing industry resulted in significant job losses, disrupting the livelihoods of communities that depended on fishing. Agriculture, the other primary economic activity in the region, also suffered due to the increased salinity of the soil and water, rendering large areas of land infertile. The disappearance of the Aral Sea has also led to a change in the local climate. The region, which once had a moderating influence from the large body of water, now experiences harsher winters and hotter summers. This climatic shift has further strained the agricultural sector and made living conditions more difficult for the inhabitants. Socially, the crisis has led to the displacement of many communities. As livelihoods became untenable, people were forced to migrate to other areas in search of better opportunities. This migration has contributed to the breakdown of social structures and community networks, exacerbating the human suffering caused by the environmental disaster. In recent years, there have been concerted efforts to address the crisis of the Aral Sea. International organizations, local governments, and NGOs have initiated projects aimed at mitigating the damage and attempting to restore some of the lost ecosystems. One of the most notable initiatives is the construction of the Aral Dam, completed in 2005, which aimed to separate the northern part of the Aral Sea from the southern part. This dam has helped to stabilize water levels in the North Aral Sea and has led to some recovery of fish populations, allowing limited fishing activities to resume. There have been efforts to improve irrigation efficiency and reduce water wastage in the agricultural sector. Modernizing irrigation infrastructure and adopting more sustainable farming practices are essential steps in ensuring that the remaining water resources are used more effectively. Reforestation projects on the exposed seabed have also been undertaken to reduce the frequency and severity of dust storms. Planting salt-tolerant vegetation helps to stabilize the soil and mitigate the dispersal of toxic dust. The future of the Aral Sea remains uncertain. The restoration of the sea to its former size is unlikely given the scale of water diversion required for agriculture. However, continued efforts to manage the remaining water resources and rehabilitate the surrounding environment are crucial. The Aral Sea disaster serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of unsustainable environmental practices. It highlights the importance of balancing economic development with ecological preservation. For the local communities, the hope lies in continued international support and the implementation of sustainable development strategies that prioritize both human welfare and environmental health. The story of the Aral Sea is one of environmental mismanagement on a colossal scale. The rapid shrinkage of what was once a thriving inland sea has led to devastating ecological, economic, and social consequences. While there have been some successes in mitigating the damage, the complete restoration of the Aral Sea remains an elusive goal. The lessons learned from this environmental catastrophe underscore the need for sustainable resource management practices to prevent similar disasters in the future.